Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. It is time for some cracking recipes. Now I've got two beauties for you today. I'm going to show you how to make a beautifully simple beer flatbread. We're going to top that with wild garlic, chili and fennel. Not only fennel seed, but we're going to shave some thin fennel bulbs so you get some epic texture on there. I made this last weekend in my pizza oven in the garden when the sun was out, and it was delicious, and I thought, you know what, we need to share this. And then after that, it's 3 ingredient cookies, so super simple. The kids will love me when they get home from school. So let's get started. Now, mixing bowl. So normally bread, strong bread flour, yeast, salt, kneading, working, lots of hard work, but not today. We're going self-raising flour. Or if you are the other side of the pond, all-purpose flour with some baking powder in there. Okay? But in the UK we have self-raising flour, which is handy. So, in we go. I'm going to make enough for 4, so I'm going to do 500 grams, so it's half this bag of flour. No scales today. And then I've got a bit of baking powder that's going to react with the beer that I put in a minute. So, then we're going to season it up, okay? So we need to season it up with a little bit of salt, okay? Because bread without salt's weird, in my opinion, and a little bit of pepper, okay? So give that a quick blend so that it's nice and evenly distributed. Okay, and it is time for some beer. Right, I bought these the other day, Carlos, Spanish beers. Thought you might like these, not for work.
Estrella Galicia, nice.
Yeah, so, nice light bubbly beer. In it goes. Nice and simple. Oh, look at that, I'm the worst barman going, look at that. Shocking, isn't it? That's a shocking pour, but it's all right. It's just for beer. Right, let's get our hands in and start rolling it around, and then I'm going to add in some olive oil, and that'll help. A little bit tricky. See, look, I'm a man, I can do more than one thing at once. It's not true. A couple of tablespoons of olive oil in there, and that will help make the dough a bit softer, a bit easier to work with, nice and pliable. Okay, so can you see that on the overhead, Carlos? You see what I'm doing, yeah? So I'm just twisting and working my hands around. Okay, and then once that dough is kind of come together, we'll transfer it to the worktop. Now it's got no yeast in this bread, okay? So we don't need to prove it and knead it too much. We're going to knead it, but not prove, okay? Because you can kind of see it breaks up. It's quite low in gluten, okay? But that's okay. We'll just knead it for a couple of minutes and just develop the gluten that is there. What you'll find is the dough will start to change the more you knead it and work it, all right? It's quite cold at the moment because the beer was in the fridge, so hopefully it'll warm up a bit. But it will react, the baking powder, soda should I say, and the powder that's in the self-raising flour will react with the bubbles that's in the beer, okay? So I'm going to let that rest for about 10 minutes, okay? And then it is ready to roll. Right, now the dough has kind of changed in its appearance. It's got a bit smoother, it's a bit easier to handle. All we're going to do is get a knife. We'll cut it into 4 portions, okay? And then we'll get these rolled out. Now, we want them to be the same size as our pan, because that's where we're going to bake it. So always start with the shape you want to finish with, okay? That's really important. Now, if you want the recipe from today's show, make sure you scan the QR code along the bottom or go to masterclass.co, and that will take you straight to the website of my sponsors who helped me make this show. All the information about all my products that I use in my kitchen are there, and also all our recipes, okay? So just always start with the shape you want to finish with and roll forwards and backwards and then turn. I always turn 90 degrees. Okay, so from like 12 to 3. And just keep going like that. Keep going round and round. Lift it up, make sure that it's maneuverable. The worst thing you could do is just sit and roll it and roll it and roll it, and then you realise it's stuck to the worktop. Not cool. All right? So, keep rolling. And then what I'm going to do is just get my lid. Right, a little bit more. Not too much.
Good trick.
Well, you know, there's always a way. There's always a way. The worst thing is having it too big. Too small's okay, because it'll fit in. But too big, you've got a problem. Okay, so that is our flatbread. So I've got my pan. This is 4 litre shallow cast aluminium. This is one of the new colours for this season. So if you fancy one of these, you can go to Cook, Serve and Enjoy. Website there, you can get them all there. Carlos will probably show a nice scene of a website scrolling through. You can see them all there, so it's dead easy to buy. And I think there's free shipping when you spend a certain amount of money. Anyway, so we now need to get this flatbread into there. The way to do that is to fold it in half, fold it into quarters, and then unfold it into the pan. And that means that you're not stretching the dough, okay? I've not put any oil in there at all. It is just gonna toast in there, okay? So I'm gonna turn the heat up. I'm just under halfway on my heat now. So that is gonna toast it lovely while we make our filling. Topping even. What a mucky pup today. Never mind. Right, I'm gonna put the lid on, which makes it more like an oven. Okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna transfer it over there so we can make our garlic butter. Now, okay, now, this time of year, spring in the UK, is wild garlic time. So we have loads of wild garlic growing in and around the Lake District, and it is delicious. You'll know it straight away. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you some footage of wild garlic now so you can recognize it. Wild garlic, it's banging season. We're right in the middle. So we've come to this little woods just down the road from the studio, and I found this lovely area of wild garlic. It's just near the road, really easy to get to, but in a lovely woods. Now, if you want to find it, there's a couple of really key ways to identify it. First of all, you've got this long stem here and you've got this big leaf, all right? But the most identifiable way to check is to just tear it open, smell the garlic, and then you know you've got the right product. Just remember, when you're here, pick what you need and come back for more. Don't clear the whole place, because leave some for others. And also, right about now, they're just starting to bud, so they're going to be a flower soon. You can actually pickle these and eat them the same way as you would capers. All I say to you is, go just pick what you need, wash it well, and then cook it in the kitchen because it is delicious. But just take what you need because it's free, it's all there. I just have to fight Pip for it because she does like it a bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some butter into our frying pan. Okay? And we're gonna make a wild garlic and chili butter. Sound good, Carlos?
Sounds brilliant.
You like the idea of that, don't you? Right, let me grab a knife. Okay, so our chili. Take the top off, cut down the middle, and then unfold it and just remove the seeds and the pith. Get rid of those. That's the heat. If you like the heat, put it in. If you don't, just stick with the red bit. Cut it into matchsticks. There we go. You get a really sort of nice sort of fruity chili flavour when you use fresh chili for this rather than just pure heat. And then I'm just going to carry on chopping into little dice. There we go. Perfect. And then that can go in with my butter. Right. We're going to use our fennel in a minute, and then I've got my chopped wild garlic. I've got a little bit left over here from the other day, which I'm going to pop in because When I made this, I was like, I'm totally making this on the TV show because people are going to love it. So I kept that little bit of garlic butter left over. So I'm just adding it in. Don't cook it, just melt it. And whatever you don't use, pop in the fridge because over pasta, it's flipping amazing. Use it for basting chicken or something like that in it is really, really tasty. Now, the way we're going to serve this is we're going to spread the garlic butter on the bottom of the flatbread and then we're going to top it with fennel. Now, fennel bulb to me is one of my favourite vegetables. I absolutely love it. And the good thing is what you get is you get a herb on the top. So we'll pull that off and then we've got the vegetable. So I'm just going to cut it in half long ways. And then can we see this little bit here, Carlos?
Yeah. We
need to get rid of that because it doesn't really render. It's like the core, if you like. So we'll get rid of that on both sides. That's it. And now we're just going to use our knife and we're going to really finely chop. Now take your time. I'm going to chop it with, I've got the 20 centimetre cook's knife here, which is the edge keeper. So it's nice and sharp and it allows me to take my time. Okay. And then when you get to the top, I'm just going to change my angle. There we go. Now, I've got a little mandolin here. I'll show you how I do it with that. Okay, so this is one of the Chefin mandolins. So I'm just going to make it as fine as I can. Let's see how we go. So a mandolin, if you're not very comfortable with a knife, and you prefer to use a mandolin, just be really careful. They're really sharp, but they do give you a really nice fine slice, okay? But it's up to you. I mean, I like to use a knife. It's great practice, you know, it feels more comfortable for me. So all I'm going to do is just run my knife through nice and steady. I'm not in a rush. I can just slice it. The thinner you slice it, the nicer this recipe is, okay? So just take your time. There's no rush. You could do all this before you make your bread if you want to just do one job at a time. I'm very used to sort of doing things all at the same time in a kitchen, but it's just about having a bit of control and knowing what's going on and what's going to happen in that pan at the same time. So our butter is melted, okay? And I've got a little bit of seasoning here. You see that, Carlos?
Yep.
So that is fennel seed with sea salt and a few chili cloves. So I'm going to add a few of those in there. I use that as a seasoning for quite a lot of things because it works really, really well. Now, I'm going to put my wild garlic that's already chopped in. Give it a stir. I didn't want to cook it. I didn't want to cook the wild garlic. I wanted to add it in once it's melted so it preserves its nice greenery. All right, now if you can't get wild garlic or you're watching this catch up 6 months from now, I hope you're having a fantastic September because it'll be September by then, won't it? If it's 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Use a couple of cloves of garlic and use some flat leaf parsley and you'll get a similar effect. But look, in the UK, in March, and April, it is wild garlic season. So if it's there, let's use it. Okay. So let's bring the flatbread back in. You can see that all right there, Carlos, can you?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, let's have a look. We'll lift the lid off. There we go. Our flatbread is cooking. Look, I'll give it a little shake. Because of its non-stick on the cast aluminium, it's just toasted beautifully. It's not stuck. It is there and ready to go. So, let's get some garlic butter onto here. Oh, this is going to be a good one, this, Carlos. Today has been a good eating day, has it not?
Yeah, so far so good.
So far so good. Right. Pop that on there. Nice. Put that to one side. Don't forget, keep whatever garlic butter you've got left over because it's things like that. When you've got them in the fridge, cooking's super easy. Now, raw fennel on top. Okay. And it's just going to get the lightest of cook. It doesn't need much because it gives you a nice sort of crisp taste. It gives you a nice contrast. Okay. And then the fennel top that I've got, we could put that on top. Lovely. Little drizzle of olive oil, not a lot. Nice. Right. Blowtorch. Okay. All I'm going to do is go round the edges. Now you could whack this under the grill if you wanted to. No problem. Now this is a great little blowtorch, but I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling like I need to man this up. So we're going more industrial. There we go. Now if you don't have a blowtorch like this, that's okay. It's not a problem at all. Whack it under the grill. No problem at all. It will cook beautifully. But you don't want it to cook heavy. You don't want to cook that fennel for ages, okay? So make sure your flatbread is nearly cooked, all right? And then if I just grab a slice, I can lift this out. What do you think of this one, Carlos?
Looks nice. Looks really
Looks good, doesn't it?
summery as well, like a spring summer dish.
This is bang on for your barbecues, I tell you. If you know, we almost cooked a barbecue last weekend. It got really warm here in the UK, and now it's not. There is snow on the mountains today, so it just goes to show how quick it can change. But if I just take my pizza cutter, there we go, slice that. So all cooked. Carlos, how long have we been filming?
It's about 18, 19 minutes.
20 minutes, so.
That's done.
20 minutes from raw ingredients to this beautiful little bread here. But look at that. Can you see underneath there, Carlos? If I turn that over, you can see it's cooked. It's toasted, yeah?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it tastes delicious. Now, if you want the recipe, scan the QR code on the bottom. It'll take you to masterclass.co. You'll get the recipes there. So if you want to enter this week's competition to win a masterclass set of digital scales, make sure you like, comment and share this video. That will automatically enter you into the competition. I will randomly pick a winner next week and I'll send you a message and let you know you've won, and we'll ship one of these out to you to your kitchen. Now, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. We've got another amazing recipe for you right now. Okay, now it is time for an amazing recipe. 3 ingredients cookies. Super simple. I am going to be #1 parent when the kids get back, okay? When I produce this. So, super easy. Nutella. Everyone loves it. The world's favourite chocolate spread, isn't it? It doesn't even need a name. Everyone knows. So, jar of Nutella. You a Nutella fan, Carlos?
I love Nutella.
Do you? What about your little one? Does she like it? Or have you not? Have you kept her away from it?
Yeah, I don't buy it because if I buy,
You'll eat.
yeah, we'll eat it all.
Oh, my son is an absolute Nutella fiend. So, this is a good recipe. Super simple. Kids love making this because it's easy and they can lick the jar out when they're finished, which is it's a good rainy day one, I think. School holidays, Easter holidays coming up. So, not a bad one at all. So, there is our jar of Nutella. Okay, done. 1 ingredient. Keeping count on this, Carlos, yeah?
Try.
Second ingredient. 2 free-range eggs. So, nice and easy. Now, a lot of people will go, right, chuck in the next ingredient, but I'm not. I want these eggs fully incorporated first. So, I'm just using They split one of the big jugs from the Smart Space range on Masterclass. Very clever. They all fit inside each other. Very useful. Got a handle, which I find quite useful. So, fully incorporate the eggs into your mixture. Oh, there we go. Now, you can also do this with peanut butter, which I think is quite interesting as well. In with our plain flour. Now, if you want the recipe, scan the QR code on the bottom. It will take you to masterclass.co, and that's where all Peter Sidwell's kitchen recipes are. And there's loads more on there as well that I've written with the team at Masterclass who I work with. Those are the guys that help me make this program, and I use all their equipment in my kitchen all the time. So I get to test everything out, make sure it's really good, and then I get to share it with you guys how wonderful they are. So, I'm just gonna get rid of that bit of Nutella there. That'll do for now. Now, if you have any questions as well, please do post them in the comments below. And I will answer them as best I can, okay? So, I'm now gonna fold the flour in, and we wanna mix this to a dough, and then I've said 3 ingredients, and that will make your cookies, okay? But you can then add what you like in terms of flavors. You could add sour cherries, you could add orange zest, you could add nuts, you could add chocolate chips if you want. And now, somebody who I know sent me the most amazing dark chocolate, 81%. They're called Nibble. And have you tried these yet, Carlos?
No, not yet.
You like dark chocolate, don't you?
Yeah.
No?
No,
Try it. That is proper dark. It's not sweet at all, this. The kids hate it.
Wow.
Strong, isn't it?
And I'm not much of a fan of dark chocolate, but...
But there's no sweetness there, is there, hardly?
Oh, I lost it.
Dark chocolate's really good for you. So, in it goes. So that, obviously this is quite a sweet cookie recipe because of the Nutella. But by adding like a really intense dark chocolate, you get that bitterness. And it'll work really, really well, I'm sure of it. So, mix it all together. Now this recipe dough will freeze, no problem, okay? And it will sit in the fridge, and you can just take them out when you want and cook them off. What I would suggest you do is double up, freeze them as pieces of cookie dough, and then you can just bake them off when you want them, okay? So all I'm gonna do is take my mix, scoop it out on the worktop, and then I'm just going to use sort of the warmth of my hands and the pressure just to compress the dough together. Oh, smells good. It's like being inside a jar of Nutella, this. I can just, oh, smells good. Hazelnuts really come out as well, the flavour. So, what we're going to do is weigh out our cookies. So we take our scales. On they go, and then we press tare and grams. So it's important, let's weigh the whole thing and do some maths, okay? This is where I would say to the kids, right, let's work it out. So we've got 920 grams of dough. Carlos, how many cookies shall we do? 920. If we did 10, there would be 90 grams each.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what a 90 gram...
Make it easier for our brains.
90 grams to me sounds like quite a lot. I'm feeling like we might go 45 and do smaller cookies. So we're on 45 there. So we're going to get 20 out of this recipe. Look at that. That'll do. So I'm weighing all these out at 45 grams per portion. It's entirely up to you, but they seem like a decent size to me. You could make Monster Carlos size ones at 90 grams if you wanted, but we're going 45 on each one of these, and then we're going to bake them off at 170 degrees. There's my oven now telling me it's ready. I love it when a plan comes together. Now, if you want to enter this week's competition, make sure you like, comment and share this recipe, and it will enter you into the competition to win this set of digital scales from Masterclass. Now, if you do win, so if you enter I'll enter you into the draw. Next week, I will randomly pick a winner and I will message you on Facebook to say that you have won. Send me your address and the guys, the lovely people at Masterclass will send you one of these straight to your kitchen. So make sure you enter. Right, I've accidentally pressed ounces and I'm a grams. Fluid ounces, units. I'm pressing the wrong thing here, Carlos. There we go. Right. 44. Okay, so let's get a tray going. These are almost ready to go in. I'm just going to keep going. So I think I will fit 12 on here, and then I'll do another 12. Okay, so I've got 45 gram portions. I'm just going to wet my hands a little bit, and that will allow me to shape the cookies, give them a sort of head start in the shape that we want them to be. Now, they're not massive spreaders, these ones, because we've not used baking powder, we've used plain flour. So the only way that they'll spread is through melting. So we're just going to squash them down. And once they are all done and shaped, keep wetting your hands a little bit. Really does help, makes it way easier. We're going to bake these in the oven at 170 degrees C until they are golden. Now, if you want crisp cookies, you're going to need to cook them for a little bit longer. If you want them soft and gooey in the middle, a little bit less. Okay. Right. Let's get these into the oven. Here we go. My cookies are in the oven, 170 degrees. They're going to bake for about 8 to 10 minutes, which will make them soft and gooey in the middle. Now, if you want them crispier, I would do maybe 10 to 12, maybe 14 minutes, depends how you like your cookies. But for me, 8 to 10 minutes, 170 degrees. Right, our cookies have been baking in the oven for 10 minutes. As you can see, I've got my chief taster here. When Nutella is in the oven or in the kitchen anywhere, this little one is about all the time to check. Right, so you can see they're not big spreading cookies, okay, but they are delicious. Now, while they're in the oven, me and Carlos are having a bit of a chat, and he shared something with me that I thought, well, that's just genius. We need to share that. So what he was saying was, in Spain, when he grew up, after the Nutella jar was finished, they would make a drink out of the remains. So, in the name of using up leftovers, we thought Thomas would give it a try. So I've just warmed up some milk. There we go. What do you think? Well, how does this sound then? Nutella hot chocolate. You liking the sound of this? Yeah, I thought you might. So, we've got the remaining jar. Add some Nutella. Is this so far so good? This is your recipe, Carlos, not mine.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to do is get the lid on nice and tight and just give it a gentle shake because I don't want it to have an accident. Yeah, you see, because it's hot. You need to be careful, but you need it hot enough to melt. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. For Nutella in cookie form and in drink form. You ready? Right. What a great way to use up your Nutella and make sure you don't waste anything. There you go.
Waste it.
Have a little taste and tell me what you think. Have a little sip. Maybe you could dip your Nutella cookie in your Nutella. Yeah, now we're talking. I'm going with that too. Yeah. Nice. Excuse me. Carlos,
Thank you.
your contribution. Now, if you want the recipe, scan the QR code along the bottom right now. That will take you to our website, masterclass.co. From there, you will find all our recipes from all of Peter Sidwell Kitchen episodes, also loads of other recipes on top of that as well. If you want to enter the competition to win the digital scales from Masterclass this week, please comment, share, and like this video. That will enter you into the competition. I will draw a random winner next week. I'll message you and we'll send you a set of digital scales courtesy of Masterclass, our sponsors. But thank you very much for joining us. I am off to finish my cookie.